Valeria was finishing washing the dishes when the soapy plate slipped from her hands, fell to the floor, and shattered into numerous tiny fragments. Her mother entered the kitchen. "Heavens, what a klutz you are! Washing dishes should be simple, yet you can't even manage that. Sweep up and thoroughly mop the floor so no one gets cut or slips," her mother scolded. Valeria swept the shards into a dustpan, emptied it into the trash bin, then wiped the floor. Her mother reappeared in the kitchen. "You've cleaned the kitchen, might as well do the hallway, there's no reasoning with you." Valeria initially felt hurt by her mother's words, being constantly labeled as clumsy and inept, but eventually grew accustomed to it. When her mother scolded her, Valeria imagined a thick glass wall between them, where her mother's words bounced off harmlessly. Now, squatting down and hunching her shoulders, Valeria wiped the hallway floor. "Look at your shoes, they're filthy, and you're tracking dirt onto the clean floor. Wipe them," her mother's voice commanded. Valeria obediently wiped her father's boots, her mother's shoes, and her own sneakers. "Well, thank goodness, not even a year has passed," her mother remarked. "Go do your homework. With your looks, you won't catch anyone's eye for marriage. At least get an education, or you'll be a burden on us for life." Valeria retreated to her room, closing the door firmly. She had finished all her homework during the day. When her father returned from work, her mother wouldn't bother her, and she could peacefully read. Valeria picked up a book, read the title Running on Waves, and immersed herself in its magical world. When Valeria finished school, her parents sent her to her paternal grandmother. Madame Anna had long been struggling with heart problems and had been feeling worse in recent years. "Go to Grandma Anna's, at least you'll be useful for something," helping her out. "And if possible, maybe you'll get into some educational institution. Though I doubt your provincial diploma with honors will impress anyone in the capital," her mother remarked. But Valeria got in. Not just anywhere, but into medical school. She managed to study and take care of her grandmother. After completing her studies, Valeria became a dentist. Unfortunately, her grandmother didn't live to see her granddaughter's success. Madame Anna passed away the year Valeria graduated. The parents, who had come to bid farewell to their grandmother, were surprised to learn that she had bequeathed her two-bedroom apartment near Barricadnea metro station to her granddaughter. They didn't argue about it. "Well, at least you'll have an apartment," Valeria's mother said. "You'll be left without money, but you can exchange it for some studio apartment on the outskirts." Valeria started her independent life by getting a job at a regular dental clinic. She had been working there for 2 years when she was invited to work at a private clinic. The salary here was significantly higher, and so were the job requirements. But the main thing happened about a month later. A young man came to see her. Valeria treated him like any other patient, cured his toothache, and scheduled the next visit in 3 days. However, he was waiting for her at the exit that evening with a bouquet of flowers. They started dating. Igor was 7 years older than Valeria and immediately took care of her. He was attentive and caring, almost immediately introducing her to his circle of friends, who greeted her warmly, albeit somewhat condescendingly. "Valeria, you and Igor are such a wonderful couple. Marry him, don't even think about it," Alice, the wife of one of Igor's friends, once said. "But Igor hasn't proposed to me," Valeria was puzzled. "He will, he'll definitely do it. We see how in love he is with you," Alice confidently stated. Indeed, 3 weeks later Igor asked for her hand. Her parents liked him. "He's exactly the kind of husband you need. Smart, sensible, he'll balance out your foolishness," said her mother. They celebrated the wedding at a restaurant. Most of the guests were from Igor's side. Valeria only invited her parents and 2 friends from college. She was happy until the moment they announced the first dance of the newlyweds. Her husband took her hand and led her to the center of the room. Before the first notes of music played, he leaned into her ear and said with a smile, "I hope even with your elephantine grace, you won't crush my feet." Valeria, who had just felt like a bird soaring in the air, suddenly felt stiff as a board. She didn't hear the music and during the dance actually stepped on Igor's foot twice. Igor noticed Valeria's reaction and, when they returned to their seats, tried to brush it off as a joke. "Please, don't joke like that anymore, I don't like it," she said. The young couple decided to live at Valeria's place. It was close to the clinic. This was convenient for Igor, who worked as a safety engineer at one of the enterprises. His apartment was, firstly, a one-bedroom, and secondly, located in Dolgopredny. Valeria was generally satisfied with her married life. She wasn't burdened with household chores, especially since her husband helped her. There were no financial problems in the young family, of course, but Igor's salary left something to be desired, whereas Valeria earned quite well. They renovated the apartment, updated some furniture, and twice a year allowed themselves vacations by the sea. The only thing that strained Valeria in their relationship was Igor's constant criticism, claiming it was on the grounds of being the elder. It was especially hurtful when this happened in front of others. Sometimes Valeria felt like he deliberately sought reasons to pick on her. For example, when they gathered friends to celebrate their first wedding anniversary, Valeria set out a new set of dishes gifted by one of Igor's aunts. "Thanks to my Aunt Larissa," Igor said. "Look at this dinnerware she gave us for the wedding. If not for her, who knows what we'd be eating from now. Lira's shattered all the dishes in a year. I think we should switch to disposable. No need to wash them." The guests laughed. Valeria felt offended, and that evening, after everyone left, she asked Igor why he portrayed her as a bad homemaker. "Come on, Valeria, I was just kidding. Everyone understood it perfectly well. My friends have a great sense of humor, just take it easy," he replied. Valeria tried to take it easy, but it didn't always work out. When Igor called her clumsy, foolish, while she was standing by the apartment door searching for her keys and her purse, she endured and remained silent. But when one of his friends asked when they would start addressing the demographic issue, Igor replied, "That's not on our agenda yet. Children are a responsibility." And with Valeria, what kind of mother would she be? She'll probably drown the child while bathing it. In the evening, Valeria initiated her first argument with her husband. "I'm tired of hearing you make me out to be a fool," she declared. "One more joke like that, and I'll file for divorce." Igor apologized, promising it wouldn't happen again. The next day, he came home with a bouquet of her favorite lilies. And indeed, he kept his word for quite a while. One day, when they had been married for about 3 years, Valeria shared her joy with her husband. She had been offered to undergo certification and obtain the first qualification category. For a young doctor with just over 5 years of experience, this is a big achievement. "I'm being sent to courses now, then I'll have to pass all the tests and interviews. If successful, the salary will be higher." Valeria rejoiced. "Don't count your chickens before they're hatched," Igor interrupted. "Let's celebrate when you actually achieve it." Valeria succeeded. Before the new year, she brought home a copy of the order and the certification sheet. "Let's frame it and show it to all our guests," Igor joked. They didn't frame it, but they did show it to the guests. After the New Year's greetings on TV and the guests paid tribute to the cold appetizers, Valeria tried to fit a hot dish onto the table and accidentally knocked over a glass. It was empty and didn't break, just fell. Igor caught it and proposed a toast to his wife, the respected doctor with the first category. After drinking, he turned to Valeria. "Respected doctor with the first category, please tell us, what should one do if a person's hands grow not where they should, but a meter lower, and everything they touch falls and even breaks?" After that, he turned to the guests. "Imagine going to such a doctor with the first category, and instead of drilling your tooth, he drills your eye with his tender hands. What would you do?" Many laughed, but not everyone. Valeria looked at the laughing mouths, some of which had fillings she had placed. All right, she'll forgive them. Maintaining a friendly expression, Valeria changed plates for the guests and approached her husband. "Igor, I'm feeling really unwell. Everything for tea and coffee is on the kitchen table. The cake's in the fridge. I'm going to lie down. But what about me here? Nothing, the women will help you. I really feel bad. I'll go lie down, otherwise I'll have to call an ambulance. Valeria went to the bedroom, grabbed earplugs. Surprisingly, she fell asleep within 10 minutes. The next day, Igor was awakened by the sound of a vacuum cleaner. He came out of the bedroom, the table was cleared, the dishes were washed. Valeria was cleaning the carpet. "Why are you making so much noise so early?" he asked, yawning. "Early? It's almost noon already," Valeria replied. Igor noticed 2 large suitcases in the hallway. "Are we going somewhere?" he asked. "I'm not, but you are," Valeria replied. "Where?" Igor was surprised. "To Dolgopredny." 2 hours after long arguments, promises, and vows, Igor finally left her apartment. Valeria called her mother. "Have you completely lost your mind? You kicked out your husband. Where will you find someone like him now?" "I definitely won't be looking for someone like him," Valeria replied. "You were so foolish before, and you still are," her mother said indignantly. "No, I was foolish before, but now I've grown wiser, that's why I kicked Igor out," Valeria replied. "How will you live?" her mother asked. "Don't count on me and Dad." "I'm not counting on you. I earn more in a month than you and Dad do together in 3 months. I won't be destitute," Valeria said and hung up the phone.